And speaking of rubbing and scrubbing, let's open the sketching set. One of the things that you'll find very quickly is a number of reddish drawings. There are red charcoal, Conti crayon are all very, very, very traditional media for drawing. And that's why they've included this. They didn't give you every color, they just gave you the essential traditional reddish brown color in this kit. Does that make sense? Because that's just the traditional color. And let me talk about tortillons here. And they're good for blending. You may use your finger to blend. That's legal. But you need to understand that when you use your finger, you're getting oils from your finger onto the paper, and it will turn brown. Now, if you're under 20 years old, 20 years sounds like a long time to you. But the rest of us know that 20 years goes by like that, and you don't want your drawings turning brown even in 20 years. And I think with fingers, it would probably start well within 10 years. So trust me, it's better to use some kind of blender than it is your finger. Having said that, sometimes I use my finger. Don't tell anybody. Now, I don't know what I'm drawing here. I'm just making a texture. All of the tools, and by the way, let me do this. I had to do that on camera because you need to get over your fear of breaking your new toys. Most of these charcoal and or pastel sticks are made to be broken and used so that you draw then with the side of the stick. Okay, so I have not just ruined my brand new toy, I have just made it usable. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I do want you to know that that is exactly what most artists will do. And again, what am I drawing? Well, it's reddish brown and black, Untitled #1. How about that? I'm just playing around. I strongly recommend that you play around. In fact, having said that, let me reiterate that if any of these materials or mediums are new to you, be like a kid, be like a young child, and don't get all serious and don't think you have to learn a lot of stuff. No, just mess around. Especially, I mean, one of the worst things that can happen is you can buy all this stuff, and I happen to know, I have it on good authority, that this is exactly what happens with many people when they buy an art kit. It goes home and they're petrified. They're paralyzed. They don't know where to start. Let me strongly urge you to just be a kid and play around. Don't try to do a masterpiece. Just do exactly what I'm doing right here and play with it. So this is brown and black, Untitled #1. I strongly recommend, especially if you're using a medium that is new to you, or if you've bought a really nice kit like this, that you try to put on the mindset of a young child and just have fun playing. Don't get intimidated by it. Just break it open and start making a mess. Don't try to turn it into a masterpiece. So let me pick up one of the pencils again and do some, and again, you notice how I automatically pick up a pencil and start drawing. I hold it in the, what I call the sketch position. And then I'm going to pick up my eraser and just play around with it. I hope that somewhere deep inside you there's a little child that's going, wee! It's very undignified, and that it's a good way to become a good artist. Play, play, play. I recommend that you approach your art not as a discipline to be studied so much as a toy to be played with. Just a word about the sanding pad here. This can be used to get a super sharp point on your pencils. By the way, it can also be used to create graphite powder that you can then blend in with your tortillon. All kinds of fun. And then let's say I want to do eraser. Again, you are also welcome to take a sharp knife, an X-Acto knife or a sharp pocket knife, and cut little tiny wedges off your eraser. I won't do it to this one today, but you can do that and use the sharp edge to get very, very, very fine lines with your eraser, so that in effect your eraser is a drawing tool. It's not simply a fix mistakes tool, it's a drawing tool. Okay, now let me switch sketchbooks, go to something a little bit larger, and this one is white. And shall I do one more sketch using the mannequin? I think I will. Let me put them in a different pose, and this time use the sketching set instead of just the graphite. So I'm going to get the graphite kit out of the way, and let's use the traditional terracotta colored charcoal pencil. Now, again, you don't need to do this, but I'm in the habit of, when I open a sketchbook, of leaving a title page. You can come back later and put your name and date or any other introductory information. That's just me. You don't need to do it that way, but it's a habit I've gotten into, and I have found that it has served me well to leave that first page blank. So here again, I would recommend that you look at the manner in which I move. I sound like I'm being arrogant, and sure enough, I might be, but I don't think I am. I am amazed when I watch other professional artists at the similarity in the manner in which we all move. Experienced drawers, there's a very high degree of similarity between the way experienced artists draw and move. So again, some of the words would be fluid. Many times in this case, the Conte crayon or the hard brown pastel remains on the paper for 10, 20, 30 seconds. I'm not being tenuous and nervous about it. And again, let me reiterate, I think that it's because I have a playful attitude toward drawing that it makes it fun. Don't get too serious. If I hear you're being serious, I will come and help you laugh. Now, one of the fun things about this mannequin, of course, is that's about as much detail as I have there. Then it's not very difficult to come back and begin to add some of the human details that I already know about, the shapes of the hands and the mouth and so forth. And there's only so much detail we can get here. But one of the things I want to do with this before I put it down is do some background color. When I look at a lot of students' sketchbooks, and I do look at a lot of student sketchbooks, one of the pitfalls, is that one of the weaknesses? One of the things I notice often is that many times students are excellent at drawing. They can just draw the daylights out of an object. They're very, very good at drawing, and yet they're not so good at creating a piece of art. I'm drawing perhaps an artificial distinction here, but what I mean by that is learn to not just draw a thing, learn to put it in a context. Does that make sense? In other words, give it an environment, finish the whole drawing. And we're just about out of time for this step of our sketching instruction. Let me finish this just a little bit. If I had more time, I would come in here and shade all of this a little bit more carefully. And the last thing I'm going to do is come back and do dark details with the charcoal stick that I broke in half earlier. Again, I would definitely call this a sketch, not a finished drawing. And I haven't even thought about clothes on this figure. There, he's wearing a Roman toga. How about that? So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of one approach to using the sketching kit, integrating both the the red orange or the reddish brown pastel, and then the black. And we could certainly come in here and make the shading even darker here. Pick up again the Tortillo and blend that in. I hope that helps. Most of all, I hope that you'll learn to have fun and play with it. Now let's move on to the next medium.